the income and credit analyzer, you can see that you land on a summary page, which gives you all the information about that loan. If there are any exceptions, which you see over on the left-hand side of the ribbon in the form of those red bubbles. There we go. And you also see the breakdown of the income. This is the income that we found during that capture perfect stage off of ADR and ADE. And we break down the different types of income that are available for that borrower. And on the summary page, we also indicate those exceptions that we talked about. So it's an exception-driven process that brings up any information of the documentation that's come in that maybe doesn't meet the required guidelines. So here, Mary, homeowner, she's missing documentation that supports her year-end income, both for income and for commission. So we give you a timeline view where you can see what is covered by the documentation that's been submitted, and also what particular item is missing. So the user can go and they can request that information, upload it through our system, and that can happen automatically through whatever way you have for documentation to come in. And it will automatically go through ADR and then through ADE, and you will see that this automatically clears. I almost had it timed perfectly. And so we went in and took that information, made sure that it met those rules, those exceptions that were failing, and since it satisfied it by that documentation that came in, I didn't even have to look at it. It just went in, it said these are the acceptable data items that we're looking for, and all of the issues with Mary homeowner on this particular loan are cleared, and that income that was calculated is supported 100% by that. So if we look at John, homeowner, we were talking about how we can do what-if scenarios. John's income is calculated here. We've displayed how we've calculated it. But when we ran through ADE, we also found that there were bonus and overtime income values on those pay stubs or the VOE, whatever was submitted. And we show you them and let you know that that's something that could be included. You'll notice that there's a blue check mark by base. That's what the loan was submitted with, whether the loan officer or the borrower took that information and put it in there, that's what they wanted to qualify with. But in the unchecked boxes, we've said, hey, we found a little more income for you if you need it. So we're gonna go ahead and select bonus and see what happens. As soon as we selected it, 2 failures showed up from an exception standpoint. So if we go in and we look at those, we see that there isn't any bonus supported for the previous year. So probably not a good option of additional income to use. Might have to jump through some additional hoops or make some additional requests. So we'll go back and we'll check overtime. So we'll uncheck bonus and we'll check overtime and see, sorry, I'm getting ahead of it. So here's the bonus, you can see in the red where there's not anything that's present for there. And if we check the overtime, we can see that there's only one failed rule. And that rule states that there's not an overtime amount in the LOS. And of course there's not, because they didn't submit it in asking for you to qualify with that. So you can just simply see what that amount is from the overtime, go into the LOS, update that value, and save. And when that save happens, that data also comes over into Income Analyzer, and you'll see that that number 1 by the income icon up there will clear automatically without you having to do anything else. So while that's happening, we'll go and we'll take a look at Credit Analyzer. So Credit Analyzer, again, lands on the summary page. You can see some information about the mortgage score that's used. You can also see the individual scores for that borrower. You can see the types of accounts, whether they're user accounts, if there's any public records, any information that you really need at your fingertips, and you don't have to comb through the credit report, all that data-dense information on a PDF that could be in 12 different places depending on which credit report you're looking at, and we pull it up into the front. Also make it, you can see the inquiries, you can see AKAs, recent addresses, any of that you may have to include in a condition or put on a document that you need to have somebody explain, letter of explanation. So we have a quick copy paste that's there now. As we continue to integrate, that'll be information that's already over into the LOS for you. Pause it real quick. So